What I experienced during my near-death experience was not a bright light and then you cross over and everything is beautiful. For me, it was exactly the opposite. I ended up in hell. Jesus, yes. Well, he must have been an admirable person, but ascending to heaven and all that, not my thing. My COPD, for example, is getting worse every year, so I know that. After attempting suicide, Gerhard Schug had a hellish experience in intensive care that changed his life. The numerous comments following the publication of the Thanatos TV interview inspired him to say a special prayer. Soon afterwards, Gerhard Schug surprised us. He had been unable to live without oxygen due to a lung disease that was considered incurable. Yet now, he happily entered the recording room with his walker, accepting our invitation to talk about his miraculous recovery on camera.
Mr. Schug, you really surprised me today. The last time we saw each other, you were on a ventilator. You couldn't leave your home and told us about your near-death experience. Now, I would like to ask you to simply tell us what happened. Last time I also asked you what your prospects for the future were. You replied that it was foreseeable that things would get worse from year to year, that the oxygen content in your blood would continue to decline and that breathing would become more difficult. Now, at least in terms of breathing and mobility, things suddenly seem to be very different. What happened? Please tell us a little more about it.
Yes, well, the most important reason was, and I wanted to thank everyone for that because I really didn't expect it, thank you very much for all the positive, kind letters, get well wishes and prayers. And that was the reason why I said to myself at some point, now, I have had positive experiences with my guardian angel. Why, Gerhard, shouldn't you also be able to believe in Jesus Christ? I told myself that I shouldn't rule it out. That would be unwise. Maybe it is possible after all. And then I decided to pray to Jesus Christ, and I said a prayer simply in the way that I am. Go ahead, Jesus Christ. But what was important to me was that I was open, and I said that quite deliberately. I am open, and I was. I took it seriously. And then something happened that I never would have expected. As if with a finger snap, really within a very short time, within fractions of a second, I was suddenly able to breathe freely. I hadn't experienced anything like that in many years. I had been dependent on oxygen for 24 hours a day.
How long has it been?
For many years, for at least 7 or 8 years. I couldn't even go to the toilet or to the bathroom to brush my teeth without taking my portable oxygen device with me. I couldn't do that because I was suffocating. I always needed it, 24 hours a day, either the large machine at home or the portable one, in the flat and also outside. There was no other way. And back then, what I said was true. The future prospects weren't exactly rosy. That's how I'd experienced it over the years. I have COPD, GOLD status 4. I was in palliative care, and I never really expected that things could get better, because my own experience speaks against it. And also what science says. It is incurable.
And that was from one moment to the next?
Yes, that's how it was. And I was completely perplexed, I must say. I couldn't believe that this had happened. And ever since then, I thank him almost every day for taking that away from me. I mean, I still have lots of other little things that I carry around with me. For example, this thumb here. I have other things that are there now too. But that's the most important thing for me because it's my quality of life. I can breathe freely. That wasn't possible for me before. I was wheezing. It was unbelievable. And everyone who knows me, who has been with me during this time, asks, "What happened to you? You don't need oxygen anymore." They notice it immediately. And also how I can breathe freely. I once found a video of myself by chance. I wanted to photograph the model number of a washing machine, and someone filmed it on video. And I heard myself panting when I wanted to order the spare part. I heard how I was panting. I thought to myself, "Gentlemen, that doesn't sound good. That's hell." And now it's completely different. So I'm fascinated, and I'm saying it. And anyone who asks me is welcome to find out. When someone asks me what happened, I still go for the same thing. Jesus Christ, that was it. I believe in him now, and I'm very, very grateful.
This moment of change was immediately after the prayer?
Actually, yes. I can't say exactly when, but I would say it was immediately afterwards. I prayed, and then it happened.
And now you don't need oxygen at all?
No, only occasionally in the evening when I feel like my oxygen level is dropping a little below 90, 88, 86. That happens sometimes. It also depends on the weather. For example, when it's foggy or in winter. That's always a critical time for me. Then I might turn on the oxygen, but most of the time I forget about it. It runs and hums, but I don't have it on. I notice in the morning that it's not on. But in the past, when I didn't have it on, when my nasal cannula slipped off during the night, I woke up with an oxygen level of maybe 60 or 65, with a splitting headache, and then I knew what was going on. And now, even without oxygen, the value is usually 94 or 96. That's incredible.
Have you had this checked out medically?
Yes, my lung specialist checked it recently. He was amazed and asked, "What happened to you? Your lungs then compared to now? It's incredible." So I told him, "This is why." And he smiled a little knowingly, but not negatively, rather affectionately, was my impression. And I think he was happy for me that this has happened.
And now you can go outside again. That wasn't so easy in the past.
Yes, of course, it's still difficult. It's not always like today, where I'm really feeling well. It's been different the last few days. I also have neuropathy with severe nerve pain. Sometimes I'm as stiff as a frozen stockfish. There's no other way to describe it. And then I find it difficult to move. So I need time to get going. That's usually the case in the mornings, but today is one of those days when I felt fresh and fit right from the start. And I was also looking forward to today's appointment and to saying thank you to those who stood by me during the difficult times, prayed for me and all that. I am very, very grateful for that.
I suppose you are even more optimistic now than you were before.
My faith has been strengthened. Today, I see it this way. This hellish experience was meant to be for me, so that I would change my life, change my attitude towards faith, towards God, and above all, towards my fellow human beings. And that is what happened. Before I woke up in intensive care, the doctor told my daughter, "Your father is not expected to survive. And if he does survive, he will suffer severe brain damage as a result of what he did." And look at me today. There is no trace of it left. I feel fitter than before. And that's incredible. And back then, when I woke up, I realized immediately, I don't have the right to take my own life, which God has given me. I knew that right away. And that's how it all started. And then it just went on step by step. And now I just say, God willing. The Arabs say inshallah, which means the same thing. Just be patient. Let him do it. Don't interfere with his work. He already has a plan. and I don't always have to know and understand it right away. That's not so important. I stick with it, and he does his work, and then somehow things move in the right direction. That's my experience.
I wish you continued success on your fascinating upward journey, step by step. Thank you very much for talking to us.
You're very welcome. I really wanted to do it again because I'm very grateful that we had that conversation back then. And at the time, I was really faced with the question, do I do the interview, yes or no? Also because my name will then be on the internet. And the decisive answer that came to me was, if I can help just one person, then it's worth it. And that was the reason why I said yes. And that was exactly the right decision.
Great. Thank you. All the best for the future.
Yes, thank you very much.